Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Vicki here again. Boy, I bet all of you are pretty happy. I think your school lessons are done by now. This is the 11th of June, just so you have a frame of reference for time. Today we're going to be reading some more stories from the Old Testament, and pretty soon we're going to get to start on the stories in the New Testament. And you know, and I know, that the stories in the New Testament all are about Jesus and the things that happened after he was born. But right now, let's talk some more about some stories from the Old Testament. Today we're going to be reading one called Jeremiah. And if you're following along in your Spark Bible, it's the story that is on page 176. If you look at the picture, that's a picture of a little boy, and I assume that he's supposed to be Jeremiah. And he looks rather surprised and almost bewildered, a little bit worried. I wonder what's going to happen to Jeremiah. Let's read and find out. When Jeremiah was just a boy, God told him that he was going to be a prophet. No wonder he looked like that, right? He was going to tell all sorts of people about God. Jeremiah couldn't believe it. God and Jeremiah had a big talk. Jeremiah, I knew who you were before you were even growing inside your mom, God said. You were born to be a prophet. Imagine that. Jeremiah was nervous. But God, I'm just a kid. Isn't that what you would say? I don't even know what to say to a grown-up, he said. We'll do it together, God said. Where you go, I will go with you. When you talk, I will give you the words. God touched Jeremiah's lips. Just like this. Now your mouth is full of my words, God announced. Go tell everybody about my love. God and Jeremiah made a good team. Jeremiah took God's love to many people in many places. Boy, imagine, what would you do if God came to you and said that he was going to make you a prophet and that you could use his words? Well, I bet a lot of you do that already by being kind to your friends and listening to your parents and using nice words. Hi boys and girls. Today's story is still in the Old Testament, and this one is called A Good Ruler. If you would like to follow along in your Spark Bible, it's on page 178. God chose the Israelites to be a special people. They lived in a country called Israel. God gave them a good ruler named King David. Some of the kings who ruled after King David were not very good. These kings made the Israelites so sad that they forgot about God. Oh, there was much trouble in the country. However, God did not forget about them. God sent a man named Jeremiah to give the Israelites hope. It was the same man from the other story when he was a little boy, Jeremiah. Jeremiah said, soon God's promise to save the world will be kept. When the right time comes, God will send a leader from King David's family, and he will be a good ruler. Hooray, shouted the people. God remembers us. The people were hopeful. Everything will be good again. The people could hardly wait. Oh, it's hard to wait, isn't it? Sometimes it is so hard to wait. And things don't always happen when we want them to. They happen in God's time, not in our time, the way we would like it. Our next story is on page 180 in your Spark Bible. And this one is called The Fiery Furnace. There's a story here. This story is about a king, and his name is Nebuchadnezzar. Oh my goodness gracious, what a long name. Here we go. King Nebuchadnezzar was so angry that his face got all scrunched up and almost turned purple. Why was he so mad? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 of his workers, had said no when the king declared that everyone had to bow down to a huge golden statue that he had made of himself. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego knew that God was the only one they should worship. But this made King Nebuchadnezzar so angry, no one disobeyed the king. The king demanded to have the men tied up and thrown into the furnace. He even ordered to have the furnace turned up 7 times hotter than normal. Oh my goodness, that was so hot. When King Nebuchadnezzar peeked into the furnace to see Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, he was very, very surprised. He said, "I thought I threw 3 men in there, but I see 4 men walking around in there, and they aren't even tied up. They're fine. What's going on?" The extra man in the furnace was an angel, sent by God to protect the 3 men from the fire. The king flung open the door of the hot, fiery furnace and called, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come out right now." When they came out, everyone noticed that the fire hadn't hurt them. They didn't even smell like smoke. King Nebuchadnezzar was amazed, realizing what had happened. "Your God sent an angel to protect you. You disobeyed me and faced death rather than worship someone other than God. I declare that no one in any country can say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, because no God can do what their God can do." Look here at the picture. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are not all burned up, are they? God protected them with his angel. Oh, it wouldn't be a very good idea, though, to jump into a fire, would it? I don't think so. I don't think so. We may pray for an angel from God to take care of us, but I think we shouldn't try that. What do you think?